So hi everybody, it's been a couple of weeks since I spoke to you last. What I want to do today is just talk again a little bit about your meditation practice. Last time we talked about preparing your mindset, getting the space ready, having a little ritual, and little ways of maybe getting the kids involved or something like this. But what I want to talk about today is just how do you hold yourself, posture-wise and things like this, while you're meditating. So of course you can lie down on a yoga mat or something like this while you're meditating, but traditionally the preference is to do it sort of sitting up. And if you can imagine, we do this partly for the breathing, for posture. When the posture is good and we're not slouched too much or anything like this, then it helps facilitate the breathing, and the deep breathing helps facilitate your nervous system and helps you relax and helps your shoulders come down and this sort of thing. So really what we're looking for is a kind of good posture from the back. And as far as the legs are concerned, you can do this sitting in a chair, but from the traditional aspect, you normally have a kind of cross-legged type thing, where they hook the leg up and sit like this. I'm not flexible enough to do both legs that way. And certainly in the West, most of us aren't comfortable sitting cross-legged on the floor, mainly because of our hips or whatever aren't quite ready for it. We haven't done enough exercises, enough stretching, or you may be coming to this a little bit later in life and find that very difficult, or if you get any injuries or anything like this. But there is a reason for this cross-legged type thing that you can do if you can. And that is because, in a way, if you can imagine, we're like little tubes of energy, and the energy in some ways acts like water. And sitting up like this helps the energy all to kind of swell into the lower energy centers or chakra or sort of abdomen area, this kind of thing. And then your breathing and your mind act like a kind of pump. And then we have two main channels. So I've got my kind of zip here. If you imagine a channel that runs down your body, and then one that runs up through the spine, top of the head, and back over. And it kind of swells into this. Your breathing, your rhythmic breathing pattern, and your deep breathing helps to circulate this energy around, okay? And if you're doing yoga and things like this, where you pucker up the perineum, this also helps to force the energy up through the spine, into the crown of the head. And this is for your enlightenment practices and things like this. But if you're not that way inclined, it doesn't really matter. It's really just beneficial for your health to get the energy circulating through your body, the upper part of your body. So the cross-legged part of this is we kind of trap the energy here. It stops it pouring down into the legs too much. So it kind of creates a kind of a well, okay? Because a lot of the energy wants to go into the legs. The legs use a lot of energy, big muscle masses and this kind of thing. They want to use a lot of energy, so we kind of trap it from going too far down into the legs and make it all swell back up. If you can imagine, like damming it up like a river, and eventually the pressure begins to build and it kind of shoots up through you, and this is what they call sort of Kundalini type experience, which you may or may not get. It doesn't matter. But that's the reason for it. And of course, you can sit sort of the Japanese way as well, where you're kind of, kneeling as such. But what I want to talk about is, get yourself something like this if you can't quite sit on the floor. And, I perch on the edge of this, and helps you, like, keep your back straight, get your knees dropped, and it's quite a comfortable position. You can have something like that. You can have something like this. This is a meditation stool. It's got a slight angle to it. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, so you might see the slight angle to it. And again, this helps tilt your hips in the right direction and keep your spine straight if you sit on that. There's a bit of padding there. But what I strongly recommend you get also, if you can, I'm going to reach over here, get yourself one of these yoga bolsters. Best thing ever. You can hold yourself on this and sit so my knees are tucked now and I can sit up like this. You can bring it lengthways, you know, and again do the cross-legged thing, right? One of the things you can do if you get a yoga block, you can stick that under the back of it so it raises up a little bit, okay? And again, you can sit on that with your knees under, if you like, and it becomes like kind of like a saddle. Stops you from rocking back too much, tilts your hip in the right direction, keeps your posture straight. And that's really what we're talking about here. So what you want to avoid too much when you're going into your meditational pose, you might have your incense burning, your music going. You don't want to end up going kind of, you know, into this slouchy. This is affecting your diaphragm, affecting your breathing. If you're sitting on the sofa too much, you get a pot belly like me, and you know, it's not that great for your breathing. So spine upright. One final tip: the tongue. The tongue is not often mentioned, but you should touch the tip of your tongue behind the back of your teeth. Again, there's a couple of reasons for this. Traditionally, most importantly, is that as you're meditating, saliva is produced, and this helps it to pour down the back of the throat without you having to go big swallow every so often. And from an traditional energy point of view, we talked about this channel going up the back, over, down. The tongue makes a connection to the front lower part. So you're bridging that gap between the two channels with the tongue as well. And it's quite a natural position actually. Most time people do it without even knowing that they're doing it. It's a resting position for the tongue also. So it has that purpose. So the rest then, it's kind of up to you. We probably look at some sounds that you can do or different ways of meditation on the next one. So thank you. Bye.